Hi, I'm Glenn Whipp with the Los Angeles Times. Thank you for joining this live video chat with David Morrissey, the governor from The Walking Dead. I understand that you being cast on the show was quite a coup within your family. Like your son is a huge Walking Dead fan.
I've done lots of things in my life, I've done Shakespeare and I've done lots of West End theatre, and he's very like, oh, so what, it's like he couldn't care less about that. But so when I got this role and in this particular show, he was very buzzed about that.
The real coup would be, maybe being you can get him in the makeup chair, right, and get him as a walker.
Yeah, although the reality of that is a lot different from the actually, the fantasy of it. They work really hard, those guys who come in and do the walkers. They're there from the crack of dawn to the sun going down. They're in that makeup. Every fly in the county seems to come and find them. It's a very uncomfortable place to be, and they work so hard. I'm so admiring of the people who come and be our walkers, and they take it very, very seriously, and I love them. But so you have to be very committed to it. So my son, I think he would like the idea of it, but the reality of doing it would probably be a little bit different.
And we have a lot of questions from readers. I'll fire out a couple here. Walter Barker was wondering how much you looked at the source material and based your portrayal on that.
Yeah, I looked at the source material a lot. I mean, the source material for me was the book, The Rise of the Governor. I mean, there's the comic books, which I didn't look at. I didn't look at them until I'd started working, really. I looked at the novels, and Robert Kirkman and I talked about that character that came out of the novels. And I really started using those books, The Road to Woodbury and The Rise of the Governor. That's where the germination for me of the character came from.
We had a question from Liam, who is, I think, a fan of Andrea, and he's still a little miffed about the way the governor just kind of locked the door and left her in that room.
When he found out that Milton and her had been sort of working against him, he gave Milton a test and Milton failed it. And I think there is a sense of that despotic brain that says, you're either with me or against me. There is no middle ground. He's acquired the sadistic streak in his nature, and that is very unpleasant to see. And again, in season 4, it's about whether he indulges the sadistic side of himself.
And we're getting a ton of questions, obviously, on season 4. But you probably have no idea really what they have in store for you, right?
Well, we've started shooting, but I can't reveal anything from season 4. It's a very hard show to promote. I'm able to talk about season 3 and engage in those debates, but season 4, just because the show is so sort of secretive in its way.
Did you ever hop on social media after an episode?
Yeah, I had to be very careful about that as well, because obviously a lot of my followers on Twitter are from the UK. And the UK got the show a week after it was screened here in the US. So, there was a whole spoiler alert thing that I had to be sensitive to as well. So I would read tweets and stuff that came in from the show that had just aired here in the US, but I would be very, very cautious about saying anything about it or drawing attention to that, so that the UK fans, of which there are thousands and tens of thousands, they had the same experience, the same live experience as well. Again, I for my responsibility and for people who follow me on Twitter, I have to be very careful about not giving anything away.
As someone who is a fan of the show going in, this has to be, I mean, you mentioned your Shakespearean work too, but this has to be something of really fulfilling experience for you as an actor.
Oh, I love it. It's wonderful. I came to the show as a fan. I've known Andrew Lincoln for a long time. And when I watched that first pilot, the Frank Darabont pilot, I just thought it was a wonderful, wonderful piece of television. It was like a movie. I mean, it was so fantastic. And, obviously the show has this zombie genre attached to it, but I think it's above and beyond that. I think, it's about human nature and human survival, and that's what it's about. And so coming into the show, I was very, very nervous. I was very nervous about joining such a well crafted show and a well-supported show, and playing a character that people had opinions about. You know, he was a character that they'd seen in the comic book, so they had huge opinion about this man. So that was nerve-wracking. But it was only nerve-wracking whilst I was in my hotel room on my own, sort of fretting about it. Once I got to the set and I met everybody and was welcomed with open arms, you know, all those nerves went away, and then just excitement took over, because it's such a big family down there. It's a wonderful place to work. And I have to say that's because, you know, it's led by a wonderful leading actor. Andrew is a man who, he's the first man on set, he's the last guy to leave, he's so professional, he knows, he's committed to the work. The crew are second to none, and I love them, and they work so hard. And they are the big creative force around what we do. You know, we're able to give these high production values because of their work and their genius, really.
Well, David, thanks for joining us today for this live chat.
Thank you very
Take care.
much. It's been a great pleasure. Thanks, Glenn. Bye.